Let me show you the difference between cadmium red and magenta red. In this example, I will use them as a couple of split primary colors, meaning we have a warm red and a cool red. This cadmium red scarlet here has a warm color temperature. It is a very strong and brilliant pigment that shows a slight yellow cast, which makes it an orange red. Most cadmium reds are on the warm side of the spectrum, but here I took the scarlet version of cadmium to even emphasize this orange shade of the paint. Cadmium is a very dominant and opaque color that can really make the reds in your painting pop. On the other hand, we have this magenta here, and although it is also a member of the so-called red family, we can easily see that it's a much cooler looking red. There's not a hint of yellow in it, but on the contrary draws more towards violet, which is actually the opposite of yellow in a color circle. Magenta is a semi-opaque pigment and is not as nearly as dominant as the cadmium, but together they cover the whole red spectrum from cool to warm. So how do we use these temperature features in mixing our secondary colors? It's quite easy. Let's start with mixing orange, a warm color. When mixed with some yellow, cadmium gives clean and vivid orange colors. Strong and highly saturated. When we mix the same yellow with the magenta, we see that the oranges we get are much more muted and grayish. It's a big difference. Sometimes this is just the color you want, but it's fair to say that magenta gives you weaker orange colors. The very opposite is true for mixing purple, a cooler color. When I mix this cadmium red with some ultramarine blue, we get a warm but pretty muddy color that draws more towards brown than it does to a clean purple. Can be beautiful for landscapes. But when I mix the same blue with this magenta red, we just get a strong, clean and saturated purple. So magenta gives us the stronger purples of the two reds, and cadmium will give us the stronger orange colors. So this is why it's good to know when to use a warm red, like cadmium, and when to use a cool red, like magenta.